Hi, everyone. First Alert Meteorologist Scott Gagliardi here with your First Alert Weather Extra on this Friday morning. It is another First Alert Weather Day, so we have several threats on the table today. Of course, that heat and humidity, but once again, it's going to be the threat for some storms today. And the storms later on this afternoon could really pack a punch with some damaging wind gusts, some heavy rain, of course, the frequent lightning. We'll go through everything you need to know, though, coming up throughout this forecast. Let's take a live look outside and see where things stand right now, though, because, I mean, it looks beautiful out there. We're taking a live look at Old Saybrook, and, I mean, you really can't complain. It's looking near excellent out there. We see a lot of people, not so much on the water just yet, but I'm sure we will later on this afternoon, as a lot of people take their boats out of the marina and head out into Long Island Sound. Water temperature, those low 70s. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. Temperatures in New Haven, it's only 8:05 in the morning, and we're already near 80 degrees. You know it's going to be a hot day. 79 right now officially at Tweed. We're looking across the Yale campus here, facing north and northwest a bit. You can see Sleeping Giant way off in the distance. Looking good. Visibility okay. As we check out some of our inland towns, here's Windsor Locks. We have, looks like a JetBlue flight about to take off. Now, normally I'd say they're taking off to somewhere nice, warm, and sunny, but, well, that's us for today. We're seeing temperatures that will climb well up into the 90s, feeling more like the Gulf Coast than southern New England. Temperature at Bradley right now, 76 degrees. In Torrington, it's also very warm as well. You see, we're looking at the Torrington Plaza here, but that pavement is going to get quite hot later on today. So you're going to want to take plenty of breaks. If you're out in maybe working in this heat, you're going to want to seek AC. If you can't find maybe a public library or you're not close to one, just dial 211. They'll get you in touch with a closer cooling center nearest to you. But our First Alert Weather Day is, of course, for the heat and humidity. Heat index values later on today up and over 100 degrees. We're talking early afternoon, and there's a small window to reach that 100. It's going to come, say, anytime after 11 and last through about 2, 3 o'clock because some thunderstorms will come through. So normally those thunderstorms, we would want them to cool us off. But today they run the risk, any of them, for some strong to severe weather to roll through with them. So either we get 100-plus degree heat or some strong thunderstorms. It really is very dependent on where you are. Not everybody will see these storms. It's more isolated in nature, at least the way it looks right now. But the biggest threats will be the lightning, of course, but also some damaging wind gusts in excess of 50 to 60 miles per hour. There's a threat for some small hail as well. And you can't rule out an isolated tornado somewhere in southern New England. It's not our main concern, and the dynamics and the ingredients for that are not on the high end. So if there's any good news, at least it's that. But either way, the heat advisory, that will be impacting all of us. This is through this evening. Everyone's shaded in the orange. There is one area that's not in that heat advisory, but it doesn't mean it's going to be cooler. It'll be less hot. This won't be 100 southern areas of New London County. There's also an air quality alert. This is in effect for all of Fairfield County, New Haven County, Middlesex County, and coastal New London County for that ground level ozone. So not only will it be very, very hot out, but with some ground level ozone, makes breathing an issue if anybody has any of those breathing problems, like maybe COPD or asthma. So peak heating of the day today, you're just going to want to stay inside. 24-hour temperature change. Yesterday, we were up by 5 to 10 degrees from Wednesday, and now we're up 5 to 6 degrees warmer than we were yesterday. So it's quite the warming trend, I guess you could say, we've been experiencing, and that is going to really peak today. I mean, tomorrow's still a warm day, but the humidity level tomorrow is so low. I'm loving tomorrow. Not so much Sunday, though. Another First Alert Weather Day for some more storms. Today, though, look at these numbers right now. Already 79 degrees in New Haven. Towland and Willimantic, you were in the 60s about 10 minutes ago, and you've spiked up into the mid-70s already. So our temperatures, now that the sun is up, they're going to surge into the 80s, and they don't stop there because we're forecasting mid-90s for the Hartford area, as well as the immediate shoreline. Bridgeport, if you hit 95 today, that would break the record set back in 2001 by 2 degrees. Right now, it's 93. So we'll see if we get there. There's no reason we shouldn't, considering all the sunshine, especially in Bridgeport. You'll see that for most of the afternoon until some storms roll through later on this evening. Our dew points, those will be climbing as well throughout the day as they have been all morning. 60s and 70s. Everybody's going to be in that very humid to oppressively humid category later on today, which will allow the 90s to feel more like 100 in a lot of communities. Already at this hour, feeling like the 80s. Already, 82 is what it feels like in the Elm City. Feeling like 80 in Danbury. Everybody else pretty close. 78 is what it feels like in Groton. 79 in Meriden, as well as Hartford and in Salisbury. Normally the cooler spots of Connecticut. No, at this hour, feeling like 77 degrees. Let's go back one. You can see First Alert Live Radar. It scans the state dry now. Give this another 6 or 7 hours, and those storms will begin to pop and fire up just to the northwest of Connecticut, and then we'll see how they traverse the state beyond that. But until then, temperatures really climbing way up into the 90s and 100s in terms of the feels like temperature. This is the way the heat will feel to any exposed skin, and arguably these are more important numbers to focus on because this is how your body is going to try to cool itself down from temperatures 100 and plus. And with a lot of humidity, it makes it harder to cool off. So that's why people get maybe some issues with heat exhaustion as your body struggles to cool down as quickly and easily as it would if the temperatures were cooler. So just be mindful of being outdoors today. And of course, as always, not even just in this heat, but any warmth, no pets or people left in any hot cars. The heat risk today is moderate to major, so big issues with the heat, but look what happens tomorrow. It's a perfect day. Loving the way the last weekend of July is starting with mild temperatures and low levels of humidity. But what's going to break that humidity are these thunderstorms. And today, that yellow shading there, that's a level 2 out of 5. We've been upgraded from yesterday when we were in that level 1. So what that means is we'll see isolated showers and thunderstorms. Eventually, those thunderstorms will become more widely scattered as they cross, say, into Connecticut, across I-84, and then make their way south and east. The biggest threats, as we saw before, was those damaging winds and the lightning, but there's also an excessive rainfall outlook today, level 1 out of 4. This is issued by the Weather Prediction Center down in Maryland. And yeah, any of the storms, the stronger ones, could put down a quick inch of rain, maybe more. Depends on how fast they're moving. Luckily, the storms are moving pretty quickly today, but a lot of moisture out there, so plenty of rain that can fall out of any of these storms that form later on this afternoon. Let's take you through First Alert Futurecast, though, because we're good until about 2, 3 o'clock, and then we'll see these storms fire up to the north and to the west. They make their way south and east. Here's around 4 p.m. Notice how they're more isolated, but become more scattered by the time we get towards 5 p.m., 6 and 7. So that's when we're going to be watching for these storms to really cause some issues across the state. As mentioned, not everybody sees them, but if you do, there will be big wind producers today. We get that kind of, I guess you could call it, Futurecast interpretation by these pink shadings and dark reds, and maybe even some small hail as well. That's usually what that indicates when you see this, and especially when you know it's associated with a cold front. But beyond that, 8, 9, 10 o'clock, sky's clear, and we're setting the stage for a beautiful Saturday. Your dew point trend really drops off tomorrow. I mean, it's going to feel excellent to start the weekend, but by Sunday, we only get a day of it because that humidity comes right back, and with it will be the threat for some thunderstorms. After that cold front, notice on Saturday we're good throughout the day, maybe a few clouds later on, but by the time we get towards Sunday, a warm front will be lifting back off towards the north of Connecticut, and with it will bring some rain and storms. Could be one of those mornings you wake up to a few rumbles of thunder, and then it stays quite rainy throughout the afternoon hours, and a cold front in the evening could trigger another round of thunderstorms. It's really going to depend on if we see any sunshine and the dynamics there, but either way, any plans you have this weekend, push them to Saturday because Sunday is not looking good out there. We've issued a first alert weather day for a couple rounds of storms, one in the morning hours, and then again later on in the afternoon. But today, the big deal is the heat and the humidity and those storms late day. 95 degrees is what our forecast is for the Hartford area as well as the shoreline. Look at Bridgeport, 95. As mentioned, that would break a record set back 24 years ago of 93. 95 is the forecast in New Haven, even New London near 90, 90 in Norwich. But remember, this is only half the story. The humidity will make these numbers feel like near 100. And then after that cold front and any thunderstorms, winds shift out of the north, temperatures cool. It will be a much cooler feel tonight. This is seasonable. This is what we should be seeing, not those 70s with all the humidity out there. A couple clouds around, but other than that, It's looking like a very nice overnight tonight. Saturday, looking good, 88 degrees, a bit above average, but the humidity very low tomorrow. An excellent beach day, pool day. Maybe you're going to head tubing down the Farmington River. It's a perfect day for that. Sunday, not so much. Another first alert weather day for those thunderstorms in the morning and in the afternoon. Temperatures held back with all the clouds to 82 degrees. And then next week, we could be talking about a heat wave for the final days of July, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Maybe a couple storms on Tuesday and Wednesday, but the heat will be the bigger deal once again, with that humidity sticking around as well. And then Thursday, the last day of July, look at that, 81 degrees, low levels of humidity. It's looking pretty good, and some indications are beyond that. We could even start to see the weather stay cooler and below average. So it's still a ways out, but there are some signals that we could be talking about temperatures well below average to start August. But we know it's middle of the summer. It won't stay that way. But it would be nice to start off with temperatures not near 100 like we'll see today. There's a look at your shoreline high temperatures. Nice this weekend, at least to start, and then rainy Sunday, warm Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and unseasonably cool on Thursday. Still nice, though, 83 degrees. All right, other than that, take care today. Stay cool and keep the First Alert Weather app handy. We'll be sending you push notifications later on this afternoon if we see any severe thunderstorm watches issued, and then subsequent warnings, just to keep you ahead of the storms. That First Alert Weather app, a great resource today. All right, thanks for watching. Have a great day.